Hey, what's up, guys? I am Stacy Perez, and I am welcoming you here to Player Profiler's Fantasy Forecast. I have got some hidden gems, some late round steals that I want to tell you about for your drafts. Right now, it's best ball season, so I've got some best ball ADP here for you to talk about tonight. I'm going to give you 5 different players. I've got 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 1 running back for you. No quarterbacks in this show. Let's kick it off. Let's get started here. I am going to talk about first and foremost is a rookie. I've got Kyle Williams for you. Now he's going in round 14, and you're probably thinking like, wow, is she just really excited about the New England offense? Because I'm going to give you a little BOGO too. Not only do I have Kyle Williams, I have also got Demario Douglas here. And so, you know what? Maybe I am excited about this New England Patriot offense here. And here's why I think you should be too. Listen, the Pats made some moves this offseason. They brought in a whole new coaching staff with Mike Bravel, and then new OC and Josh McDaniels. Yeah, look, has he struggled as a head coach? Sure, but that's not his role here. They've also added offensive weapons like Stephon Diggs through free agency, and then here, Kyle Williams through the draft, right? They've also got new additions at running back, Travion Henderson. They've got that O-line with Will Campbell. They're going to be protecting Drake May. They're going to give him opportunities to make those plays that you want to see him make that he was making in college, right? So these are all really good things to bolster potential fantasy production for those Patriot skill players. So let me tell you a little bit more specifically about Kyle Williams, third round pick out of Washington State. He broke out in his last season in college, had nearly 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, which was the second most in the country, fourth most in Washington State history. He's super fast. At the Senior Bowl, at one of the practices, he was running up to 21 miles per hour. And his speed has really impressed the New England coaching staff here in these rookie mini camps that we're doing in the offseason. And he could be a great vertical threat for the Patriots, right? They don't really have that right now. And this wide receiver room is really ripe for somebody to take over that wide receiver 3 role. Kayshon Boutte, we've got Baker, we've got Polk. None of those guys really impressed that much last year. So I think there is room for a competition there. I think there is a path for Kyle Williams to come in and just snatch that right out of anybody else's hands. So right now, for some reason, and I think this is probably just a lot of rookie brain rot, right? But he is going as the second New England wide receiver overall behind Stephon Diggs. In my opinion, if he's one of your guys and you really want him on your team, that is where you're going to have to get him in that round 14. Personally, I'm a little surprised that the second leader in target share on the Patriots last season isn't going a little bit higher. And that leads me to talk to you guys about Demario Douglas. I think these two should probably be swapped, but right now they're not. So we're talking about current ADP, and current ADP has Papa Douglas going at the 17th round. He saw 17% of the team's total targets last season, right behind Hunter Henry. Okay. Word on the street around Foxborough and minicamp is that Pop should be in line for a featured role in McDaniel's new offense. And look, it's still early, but he and Drake May have a great connection. He has been one of his favorite targets in these recent practices. And look, I know it's early in the offseason, that really doesn't mean a lot. But the fact that he was there last season when Drake was getting his feet wet, in the NFL. So I think that is going to play a pretty big role as well, for Pop. And last season, just a little fun stat for you guys, he played in the slot 74.4% of the time, which was the fourth highest in the NFL in 2024. And as we all know, New England has a pretty good history with successful slot receivers. I'm looking at you, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, So those are 2 wide receivers I think you guys should be paying attention to in your later rounds, in your drafts. I want to move it on over and talk to you about some tight ends. First one I'm going to share with you guys is Brenton Strange from Jacksonville. I think he's in a great position to really benefit now that the Jags have Liam Cohen in at head coach. We've got a complete change over there in that offense. I think we're going to see really good things, going to give a boost to the Jacksonville offense as a whole. He's a guy in Strange, he's a guy that, he is now the starter. Ingram's gone. He's in Denver. He's going to go be Sean Payton's Joker, whatever. And look, do I know that they have Travis Hunter and BTJ? Yeah, of course. But, Brenton Strange is still going to have a role. And last season, when Ingram was out, he started 8 different games last year. And in those games, he had 4 top 10 fantasy tight end finishes. Look, Jacksonville didn't add another tight end through the draft, through free agency, who's really going to challenge Strange in that role as the tight end one in this offense. Okay. The guys that they did add, that they did bring onto the squad, are really more of role players, the guys that you're going to see, out there helping support the O line. They're going to be your blockers, right? We've got Johnny Munt, from the Vikings, right? Do we really see Johnny Munt coming in and taking, a starring role in this offense? No, you don't. This is going to be Brenton Strange offense, tight end one role, to lose here. So I think this is going to be a really revived offense. I think this is one that we should be looking at later rounds in our drafts. If you have maybe kind of waited on tight end, it's a good spot for you. He's going right now really, really cheap, around 12. I think he's even slightly lower than he was earlier this month. So you can get him at great value. So next up is our tight ends. We're going to talk about old man Zach Ertz, right? He is not dead yet, guys. Okay. Washington re-signed him after last season. Great connection with Jane Daniels. And don't forget, he played for Cliff Kingsbury over in Arizona. So they have a great connection there too. We've got Bensonot there, but listen, this is Zach Ertz's time. Bensonot will have his time, coming in, the next couple years, I think. But right now, this is really Zach Ertz's, offense here. And, he had 8 top 10 fantasy finishes last season. Sure, they added Debo. Debo's had some weird injuries of late. And, I don't know. He just, does he come in and kind of take away enough from Ertz that really makes you lose the value that you're getting when you're getting him this late in drafts? I don't think that he does. So right now he's tight end 22. Last year, if you guys didn't know, he finished the season as tight end 7 in total fantasy points and PPR formats. Just saying. So last but not least, we're going to get to running back Rachaad White. And look, I saved him for the last, and here's why. Because I didn't want you guys immediately switching this off thinking, this show's gone completely off the rails, okay? Don't forget, we are talking late round guys here. We're not talking your earlier mid-round guys. We're talking late round guys. So you can get Rachaad White in the 11th, 12th round, depending on, where you're looking at ADP. But, I'm very, very interested in Bucky Irving this year. I do believe that he has supplanted White as the running back 1 in Tampa, but I'm not ready to completely toss White to the wayside yet. Here's why. It's, his work in the passing game that I think it's really it's kind of what does it for me. White and Irving had nearly identical numbers across the board, targets, receptions, yards last season, okay? But here's where White really excelled. It was in touchdowns, all right, in the passing game, okay? He had 6 receiving touchdowns while Bucky had 0, all right? So when you're drafting players in the later rounds, what are you looking for? You're looking for guys that have upside, right? Other running backs in this range, Trey Benson, Tajay Spears, J.K. Dobbins, all these guys had 1 or less receiving touchdowns. We've got Rachaad White here with 6 receiving touchdowns. You tell me, that's upside, right? So not much reason to see his role changing, right? We've got the main crew in Tampa returning, okay? So why not go and spend some of your draft capital on a guy who's going to give you potential for those touchdowns and PPR points in this range? I think it's a great idea. So guys, that is going to do it here for Fantasy Forecast. Don't forget, if you had a good time here today, please go like, subscribe, and follow. Make sure that you are keeping up with all the incredible content here at Player Profiler. Before I go, though, I want to just make sure you guys know about the Fast Draft app. I've been doing a ton of these best ball drafts, and they're super quick. They're fun. It takes the grind really out of fantasy football. They are giving away over $250,000 in prizes this year. They have got all rookie tournaments, all flex tournaments. They even have an all defense tournament. So those IDP folks that are out there, they have got something for you too. Listen, these drafts are 20 seconds per pick. They wrap up in about 5 minutes. Go do it in the car line. Do it while you're waiting at the post office. Wherever you've got to wait in line, pull out your phone, do a fast draft really quick. And if you use my code Stacy, that's STACY, Fast Draft is going to double your first deposit of up to $50. So, you're drafting, you're scratching that itch, takes you less than 5 minutes, and you're getting a match up to $50 too. Like, what more could you ask for? So guys, again, we will be back next time with Fantasy Forecast. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you later.